All right, so if you take a look at number 1 right here, okay. Now, we do have parentheses, and I think what you learned back in Algebra 1 is that whenever there's a parentheses, you work to remove the parentheses, right? Now, can we just go ahead and remove the parentheses right here? Yes, we could. Okay, so I'm going to provide this a little visual effect that these parentheses, they are not really, I mean, they're good in terms of telling people that there are two things added together, but in terms of the real operation, they are not that important. It doesn't really make a big difference. And so we're just dealing with some kind of simple addition and subtraction here. And we always like to handle the things from the highest power, and then we work the way down in descending order. Okay, so that means we're going to look at this, and this first. Now, here's another thing that I learned when I was a kid. I think it was pretty significant, is that there is always a sign. If there's a sign in the front, if you move the order, you move with it. Okay. So now I'm not going to move it, but if I do move it, I could move it like this. I can rearrange like this. Okay. So if I do want to rearrange it, you can rearrange it like this. And then the y's would be like minus 3y plus 4y plus 4y. And I mean, there are orders of operations, but if they're just adding and subtracting, feel free to just do whatever order you want to. So for example, 7 plus 8 plus 3, what's the best way to add things together the fastest? I mean, it's not that hard, but there's one way to add these three numbers a little bit faster. 7, 3, and then 8, because 7 and 3 gives you 10, right? So so now you can reassure yourself that it has to be 18y squared. And then you have the, whoops, and then you have the remaining part, minus 3y plus 4y plus 4y. That should give you a positive 5y. So you know how easy it is. So it's all about your careful interpretation. Your eyes. Okay, it's all about your eyes. All right, so now let's take a look at number 2, something that we see often. Now, why do we see this often? Okay, because we're going to ask the same question. Can we just go ahead and remove the parentheses? Like this. Can we just go ahead and remove it? Why not? Yeah, it's all because of this negative, and this is all about your experience. If it's a plus, I mean addition, everything's fine. But when there's a minus sitting in front of the parentheses, your experience or your pain from your experience should remind you that you cannot just go ahead and take away the parentheses. What you must do, work slowly. Okay? Nobody's going to complain you if you work a little bit slower. But people are going to complain you if you don't get to your destination. So make sure you take care of these negatives very carefully. You distribute it. Then you can combine like terms. Okay? Now, you may not realize, and I'm not sure, or I don't think I was ever told about this, but one thing that I can tell you now, when I teach my calculus kids, I tell them one thing. I tell them this. We love individual terms, like polynomials. We simply love individual terms. We love individual terms because things would get a lot easier to operate in calculus like this. Okay, so that's why it's very important to understand polynomial at this stage and how we could get to polynomials. Okay, and then this one, ooh, this is ugly. So just like the earlier part, your first job is to get rid of parentheses and And I hope something that catches your attention. What should catch your attention right here? The minus right here. Okay, that should catch your attention. So your first job, don't rush to add things together. Go ahead, rewrite it. And when you're writing it or rewriting it, look at your own handwriting. Are they pretty or are they ugly? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be pretty in such a way that it becomes, you get an award in calligraphy. No, we're not talking about that kind of quality. All I'm talking about is that, are you writing them at least in a straight line? Okay, when you write numbers, would that cause any kind of ambiguity? Okay, when you write your 2, does it look like a 2? When you write the 3, does it look like a 3? And then now this is something I would do. I underline them. Okay. I mean, your brain is going to get somewhat confused with a lot of Y's here. So a little bit of a distinction would really help your brain a little bit. So you're like, oh, so that's what I'm doing. So how many Y cubes at the end? A total of 3. Okay, there'll be a total of 3Y cubed at the end. And then how many Y squared? Oh, we just have 1Y squared, which is 5Y squared. All right. Now, the moment I wrote down minus 5Y squared, my eyes was scanning right here just to make sure that I didn't do anything stupid. You know, sometimes I might have forgotten to write down some exponents. So I'm worried about it. And then I think that's the only Y squared term. And then I have some Y terms. That will be plus 9Y. And then we have a plus 5 at the end. So again, you are doing whatever it takes to help your brain digest the items better. And when you write your polynomials, make sure that they are arranged in such a way that the power goes from the highest and then in a descending order. Okay? So organization is very important. So here are the things that that you will need to add or subtract the polynomials. Okay. And next, we're going to do something really, really, really fun. Okay.